Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Realistic Formula Championship. It's another round in this Season 6. Round 4 takes us to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Rio Harris looking for another victory. He's already picked up back-to-back wins, rounds 2 and 3, and he'll be looking to go again. And it's time for Q1 now, and we're just going to have a look and see who we can actually follow on a lap. Alex, he's on an out lap at the moment. Who's actually... You're seeing some sectors here. This is Evans, who hasn't actually got the right settings on. He's actually on the intermediate tyres, so we don't want to be spending too long watching him. I think we're seeing some sectors from Charlotte Perkins at the moment. Just that Charlotte has invalidated, so that's no good. Tezza as well, with a sector time. And now rounding turn 9 down to the hairpin for Tezza. Keeping out of the way is Danny Zwarts in the Mercedes as Tezza makes his way on this first qualifying lap. Should be the first one to put a proper lap on the board. That's Senor Ghosts up ahead. And he stays out of the way. There's a lot of curb, and that's an invalidation as well from Tezza. So, not what he would have been looking for. He goes 3.1 seconds quicker than the intermediate time, but it means nothing at the end of the day. That Alex now to get a lap time on the board. He's also invalidated the lap. He might be going again potentially. Charlotte on another lap, maybe Mythos Speed, I think, is running up across the line, and there we go. A quickest time from Mythos Speed. And is Charlotte winding up for another lap? Is this potentially a lap that's going to be set now from Charlotte? Purple for sector from Alex. James Nias, he's on an out lap. Going to the last couple of corners now. Senor Ghosts is on a push lap. Now down towards the Wall of Champions. On the medium tyres, looking to get through with the harder compound. Whoa! I think that might be... That's Martin there, who's lagging all over the place like he was doing in the Div, in the Div 2 race. Alex now to get a lap on the board and goes quickest on the medium tyres by nearly 9/10 of a second to Mythos Speed. So Charlotte Perkins now looking to finally get a lap time on the board. And the lap time is there. It's 4th place for Charlotte with a 1:11.4. Yellow flags out there somewhere. Entirely sure where. James Nias seems to be slowing down. And waving past the Mercedes there. Who is in that Mercedes? I think it's Dylan. I believe it is Dylan in that Mercedes car. Martin now on his way, but he's also invalidated this lap as it stands at the moment. It's not ideal for him. And yeah, quite a lot of invalidations, quite easy to be done around this circuit. And now this is Dylan. Purple in the first sector on the soft compounder tyres. He looks to make his way out of Q1 and through to Q2 in his first session. Something just happened at the hairpin potentially. Green flags now being waved at this location. Probably just someone slowing down to let someone by, to be fair. It's a green middle sector, despite what that says. I mean, he can't really go slower than a lap he hasn't even done. It's just a thing that happens with the game's telemetry, unfortunately. And now, rounding the wall of champions, stays away from the wall of champions, and crosses the line to only go into second place, despite being on the soft tyres. James Nias pops up into third. Better from him. Rio Harris is also on a first lap in this session. Vazelenko to cut the beam for Aston Martin and goes into 7th place. Now there's Danny who cross the line as well, and then Harris goes into 4th, 7/10 off. They must have had a mistake somewhere on that lap. And Adam now to cross the line, and Adam in the Williams goes into 3rd. So a good lap from Adam. And yeah, he's into 3rd for the Williams. Malakai's on an out lap. Anybody actually? I don't think anyone's on a push lap as it stands at the moment. Not seeing any sectors, so let's just have a little look. Malakai, the Season 5 champion, on his way in this qualifying session. Now, down in the turn 3. Try and take as much of a cut as you can and get away with it. And I think he has. No, he didn't. We waited for the sectors, and yep, that is no good for Malakai. And yep, that's the lap gone. Tezza looks to be pushing on. And he's not invalidated yet, so this is looking like a decent lap maybe. 20.1 for the first sector. Now 8 and 9. Try and keep it tidy, get the run down to the hairpin. This is an important traction point. Get the good exit all the way down. You carry the speed on a very long straight. It's a double DRS detection point. Just there on the run towards the hairpin. And Tezza now on his way to the wall of champions. How much risk is he willing to take? We have 6 minutes and 45 seconds to go in this Q1 session. He keeps out of the wall and now crosses the line, the Sauber, and goes into 9th ahead of Charlotte Perkins. Rio Harris, meanwhile, seems to be up in this current lap and crosses the line to go quickest by 62 thousandths of a second. Adam as well, I think, is pushing on. Nope, he's pitting. So that's that gone. G's as well. Jarvis Coyd, is he? He's just starting a lap actually. So that is Parker in the Williams. Parker across the line goes into 6th position. G's Van Leuven, the winner of the opening event of the season in Australia, goes into 4th with a purple middle sector. Malakai is just rounding the last couple of corners to start the lap, because I think it's still the invalid lap, is it? No, it's not. He's on a valid lap now, and he goes into 9th place, but that's not quite where he wants to be. So Martin Jardim, Jarvis Coyd, the current 2, in the drop zone. And now we can see Jarvis Coyd rounding the hairpin turn 10 on his way down to the wall of champions, and he really needs a lap now. As it stands, he will not be making the next part of qualifying. But here we go. Manages to avoid the barriers and now crosses the line and goes into 8th place. So danger averted for the time being. And that is okay for him. And now he seems to spin the car. Just as I look away, has he damaged his wing? He has. So, not quite sure what he's up to there, but strange. Yeah. Damages the car. Now we see Senor Ghosts down to the hairpin, trying to improve because he's, at the moment, quite near to the elimination zone. Mazalenko, currently occupying that 16th place, will surely need a better lap time, and he's just behind Senor Ghosts at the moment on track, so might see a bit of a double lap here. Senor Ghosts not particularly finding time on his previous best though, as he crosses the line, and that is not a competitive lap, but maybe he's going again. Slava Vazilenko, he's in the pits, so he's potentially at risk. And we see the Red Bull here of Evans to cross the line and go into 6th position. Gets himself any trouble that he might have been gone. Shouldn't have been in trouble really anyway. James Nias now with a clear run ahead of him. Currently in 7th place. Just doing a few laps on the medium tyres. And now we'll run it to the line. He's slightly improving on his previous best through the first 2 sectors. And he goes ahead of Evans and into 6th position. It stands at the moment. So, Danny pushing on. Now, he has got Evans ahead of him, but sure he'll just let him by. No problem at all. Purple in the middle sector for Danny. And this is looking better from him. The medium tyre starting to come towards him a little bit. There we are. We see the fastest sector. For speed, actually. With the fastest sector 3. Mainly straights, of course. Rio Harris, quickest in the first sector. Danny now to cross the line and moves into 5th position. And any risk he was in, gone. Many drivers now on outlaps because they need to find time. Malachi potentially at risk here. James Nice ahead should just peel into the pits, and he does. So we'll watch Malachi. He needs an improved lap. He doesn't want to be taking a scalp elimination. That is what he might be doing at the moment, but I'm sure he's got the pace within him to get right up there now on the soft tyres. He knows that this is a serious lap that needs to be done, and he can't invalidate. And I don't think he has through there, so he carries on. Yep, it's fine, he hasn't invalidated. And now he will feed his way down to turn 8, turn 9, under the bridge. Hooks it onto the right, uses the curbs on the left. And we'll see the sector split now. And he's just under 2 tenths down on Rio Harris, so it's a better lap. Still not quite on the McLaren pace, but it's certainly good enough to get out of this Q1 session. Improvements from a lot of those behind. Little Speed, Charlotte Perkins improving as Malachi throws it in to the last corner and now runs it to the line, and he goes into 5th place, so it's a lot better from him. Charlotte Perkins now to cross the line and go into 14th, so potentially still at danger. Jarvis Coyd is not pushing on this lap. Tezza not finding time. He's controlled by AI, so the time is going to run out. Little Speed has picked up damage on this lap. What is going on there? Slava Vazilenko is finding time though, and he needs to. He's found 3 tenths in the first sector. He's found 2.5 tenths in the middle sector. And this could be it for Tezza. Is Martin, I think, is just behind, also on a push lap. Slavoselenko into the Wall of Champions. And shortest line to run to the line. And he does take the checker flag and go into 13th. Martin, the only one out there, but he's slowed down. He's backed out. And that's going to be it for Q1. I think nobody else was displaying any sectors. Martin was the only one who could knock out Charlotte Perkins. But in the end, the Q1 session sees both Saubers eliminated. Tezza and Martin Jardin eliminated in Q1. So, not the most eventful in the end, but Q2 will certainly be close. You can see the gaps between the drivers. Very close. The top 9, really, if you think, or maybe just 5th to 9th. The gap there, just about a 10th. Those are the lap times. So, Little Speed and Charlotte Perkins just about scraped through. Tezza not being able to do a lap time good enough. Martin as well wasn't setting the pace on that lap in either sector. So maybe just backed out or made a mistake. Not entirely sure. Seems to be terribly down on straight line speed as well. 325 in the speed traps, and I'm seeing 338 from Rio Harris, 342 from Jules van Leuven, 344 from Mythos Speed. So seeing big amounts of straight line speed from them. But well then, that is it for first part of qualifying. We'll now just get through into the next part. And we'll hope that people turn the settings on. I hope. So, Q2 is about to get underway, I think. Yep, here we go. Just, do we want, because I've been trying to run with a different map. I could run that map still, but then it just means that, we'll keep running like this, I think. It's fine. I think apart from that some things do clash over a bit, but what was it? It was the damage, I think. Damage? Yeah, I'll just move the damage. The only annoying thing is that you can't see if they've invalidated their lap, basically. It's the only annoying thing. The in-game map gives the right information. Between Q2 and Q3, I'll have a little look, but not too bothered for now. It'll be a bit of it adds a bit of suspense if we don't know if they've invalidated their lap. Right then, we can instantly see Jarvis Coyd is the one at the front of the train. Quite a lot of cars just already out there. 4 drivers remain in the pits. Make that 3 drivers remaining in the pits. And now Q2 will be underway. So, not quite entirely sure on what the ultimate pace is of everyone, because it's been quite, it's a bit up in the air. But this is why, this is what we want to see. Bit of jeopardy. And considering we got no wet weather conditions or anything, it's just been boring old clear weather all the time. I think Div 2 next week might even have another wet race from the early forecast I looked at, so yeah. Coyd through the first sector. Goes purple. But then, see, it should be green there, but it's not. But I can't, yeah. It's meant to be like, if it's equal, it's probably something to do with the fact that his current sector, I don't know. I was going to say something, but it probably doesn't make sense. It should be green. It's like, it's not beating his previous best because he doesn't have a previous best. It's kind of the thing I was going to say, but I don't know. Anyway, at least we can kind of see the time gaps. That's the main thing. When we get to the, yeah, when more drivers actually settle up. But here we go then. Jarvis Coyd across the line and obviously take first position. Rio Harris, they're actually somewhere there. Has crossed the line, but I think he invalidated the lap. Charlotte Perkins to cross the line. Alex then goes quickest as Evans is there in third position. And there is also Dylan crossing the line to go into second place. And there's Adam in fifth, Danny in third. You see the first runs in Q2. And Malachi to cross the line, and Malachi just 61 thousandths outside Alex's time. Alex driving the Red Bull, being allowed to by Simon, despite a bit of a feud going on in previous weeks. And there is Parker crossing the line to go into ninth place. Don't know why that's got a... I don't know why that's got a... This is a bad idea. He's in ninth. He's not in the elimination zone. There we are. We'll let that go. James pulls into the pits. So he must have been validated as well. And now Slavozalenko on a lap going through turn 8 now. On the medium tyres again. I think he was actually, did go on the softs at the end of Q1, but just saving some tyres for the time being. Maybe going on the same set that he had at the start of Q1. Potentially. And Vazilenko now might get a bit of a slipstream. But we'll see. Parker will be diving into the pits. Vazilenko now. So run it to the line for Aston Martin. The Div 2 driver reserving in Div 1 goes into 11th place. Senor Ghosts, he'll be next for Aston Martin. Aston Martin having a bit of a double lap again, but Senor Ghost not quite with it on that lap. Maybe going for another one now. We'll just keep watching. Rio Harris, he was actually pushing on that lap there. Surprisingly enough, he's pushing on his in lap just to see what the limits are. Evans here might be doing the same. He's going for another lap on the mediums. Not got the right telemetry on. Someone please shout at him. And now he crosses the line, and it's very close to the top. Less than a tenth separates the top 4 as it stands at the moment. And Danny now into the Wall of Champions as well. So run it to the line. Look, he's showing his green sectors, so it shows once you set a lap. There we are. He's within, misses out on top spot, and Alex's time by just 3 thousandths of a second. 33 thousandths between the Mercedes cars. Senor Ghosts, he's on a much better lap on this one. And he's found multiple seconds on his previous best, and now he will be cutting the line. And there we are, 6th place for him. That pushes Vazilenko down into 12th moment, so not ideal. Rio Harris is out there on an out lap again. And now G's now starts the lap. G's van Leuven, the winner of the Australian Grand Prix. but didn't actually race in any other races after that. So a little bit of work to do. McLaren not faring too well in Div 1 this season. That sounded a bit of like a brush of the wall there. But yeah, McLaren Div 2, they're just dominating. And then Div 1, it's just like the opposite of Ferrari. They have got the pace in that car though. They will recover by the end of the season. But here he is down towards the hairpin. And he's up on Alex's time. The Eagle, you better message him even more. Tap of the Vettel wall. Oh yeah, he has. Just as I'm saying that. And Van Leeuwen now. Rounding those last few corners. As James Nias only in 11th. And Gilles Van Leeuwen enters at 1 minute 10, 0 and 1 minute 9 gaggle that we got there for the top 6. And James Nias now pushed down into 12th position. Rio Harris, he's in 15th. He's on the lap at the moment though. As Danny as well is on the lap. And Danny now for Mercedes, looking to get to the top spot. Malachi just pumped in the fastest first sector on the medium tyres, but he's invalidated there, Danny. But I mean, his lap time should be good enough to get through anyway. Rio Harris, meanwhile, on his way down to the Wall of Champions. He needs a lap, not currently set one. He wants to go for another pole position in this race. Seems like there's a lot of competition today though. And Rio Harris crosses the line, and he's only just under 3/10 off, but he's down in 7th place because of that. James Nias, I mean, coming into the pits. Gilles Van Leeuwen, he's not on a lap. We'll see Malachi and also the Aston Martin Vazelenko cross the line. Malachi crosses the line, and he goes just 4 milliseconds behind his teammate, and he's still in 5th though. Let's see who else is actually setting a lap. Parker had a bad middle sector there. Has he backed out of this? I think he has. He had a bad middle sector. He's currently recharging, maybe going for another one. Gilles Van Leeuwen has pumped in fastest first sector, 10th up on his previous best, as drivers do many consecutive laps, and we really see them get to the limit. And Gilles Van Leeuwen now just over 3.5 tenths up on Alex's time on the medium compounder tyres. So Gilles Van Leeuwen certainly pushing on, and he is ready to try and go to the top of the times. I think Danny is picked up from wing damage from what I can see. That may be when he invalidated at the Wall of Champions, as Van Leeuwen now cuts the beam, and he goes almost 6/10 ahead of Alex. So that is a mighty lap from Gilles Van Leeuwen. Where did that come from? Adam, he's invalidated on his lap. Charlotte Perkins now on a lap, needs one. Currently down in 15th position and out in this session. As Perkins runs it to the line for Haas and goes from 15th into 10th spot, which is exactly where she needs to be. Will it stay that way? We've got James Nias on an outlap. He's currently down in 15th position for the Ferrari there. Yeah, something's going on with that hashed line, but we'll ignore that for the time being. And nobody's on a lap, so we'll just see James Nias start this one, I guess. We'll ride on board. We can get the full experience in what it's like to be down in 15th in a Ferrari. Into turn 1, round turn 2, on the power. Controls a bit of a slide on the exit. Turn 3 and 4, don't cut it too much. You don't want to invalidate, gets a bit of grass on his tyres. And now he did actually invalidate in that section. So pressure's building. pressure is certainly building. He was just over a tenth up on his previous best there in the first sector, but it's all come to nothing on that lap. Here is Dylan on a lap for Mercedes as he looks to get a bit closer to Dries van Leeuwen on the soft tyres, just about a tenth off through the first two sectors, so looking a bit better. Medium tyres working well for the top two. This is a soft tyre lap for Dylan. And he opens DRS. It's a bit of a lag spike. And now we'll be focusing on the braking into the World Champions. How much is he going to risk it? Right over to the left to open up the line. Clean exit. And runs to the line. Just over 2 minutes to go. And goes into second place. So there we are. Malachi just about starting the latest lap. Wonder if James Nias is pushing on another lap now. And he is green in the first sector. And he's not invalidated on this occasion. So it's looking better for James. Now, as he's going to get down to turn 8 and 9. Don't invalidate. He doesn't, for sure there. And now it's about picking a break point down to the hairpin. Open it up. Purple in the middle sector for James Nias. And gets a clean exit as well. Down to the Wall of Champions. And he'll be trying to avoid that wall. Not got a lot of ERS left for this straight. But, I mean, you can't really deploy it now. A little bit of hesitation there. Had to turn out of it. And that will have cost him time. And he crosses the line to go into 7th place. Nearly 8 tenths off the pace. So, Daniel Ghost actually has set a purple first sector, apologies, as on this lap. So the Aston Martin showing pace, but he has invalidated. So potentially that lap was actually because that purple sector might have been because of that Rio Harris is in the pits with just 40 seconds to go. So that looks like trouble. He is not continuing, and yeah, that might spell trouble for Rio Harris, the winner of the last 2 races in Japan, in Miami, the sprint in Miami. But now he seems to want a challenge of competing from further back. I can't see why he wouldn't do another lap. Maybe not have the fuel, but at the same time, I don't know. Parker now, down to the Wall of Champions. Brakes late, and don't think he invalidated there, as he now crosses the line. And he goes into 10th place, behind Rio Harris by 1 millisecond. So now it's going to be on Slava Vazilenko, who's next across the line. Can Slava Vazilenko go ahead of Rio Harris? Yes, he can. Into 7th place for the Aston Martin as Malachi crosses the line to go into 2nd place. Adam, the Polishman, crossing the line for Williams to knock Rio Harris out. And he has. Rio Harris in the Ferrari is out here in Q2. Charlotte Perkins still looking to get through in this session, finding increments of time in both the first 2 sectors. Charlotte goes from 14th to 13th place. Mythos Speed is still on the lap. He's going into the Wall of Champions now, risking it all. This is for a place in Q3. Is it Coid? Is it Mythos Speed? It's Mythos Speed into the top 10 shootout. And that is the end of the session. Jarvis Coid misses out there just at the death, as Dries van Leeuwen tops this session. And well then, Rio Harris falls in the second part of qualifying. And he'll have to be fighting back in the race. And I'll just see if I can change Bryn Evans quickly, because something is... I swear I did Bryn Evans. It's exactly what I typed in, but We'll do a little copy and paste job, I think, with his name because it's not working. We'll get ready for Q3. I'll just quickly fix this, and then we'll get going. Here we go for Q3 then, at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And I think Malachi is the first one on the lap, and we'll watch this, and he has invalidated that lap, so let's see. Has Slava invalidated? I don't think he has, so we'll watch Aston Martin, but he's not even on a lap, so it's not a good idea. Alex, I think he's on a lap, and he's pushing on in the Red Bull. Alex, who's looked quick throughout this event so far. Malachi going off track to let him by. And now you will see what Alex can do in that Red Bull. There he is looking to make a marker, place down a marker in a Red Bull compared to the Racing Bulls. I mean, he was competing at the front in Miami in the Racing Bulls, competing with Rio Harris. So, certainly a good omen. Now he crosses line to go quickest. Gilles van Leuven into second. James Nias there, going into third. And there is Evans, who crosses the line to go he's into third. Adam there, crossing the line as well. Danny Zwart across the line. That is fifth place for him. Mythos Speed quite far behind the other drivers. He is pushing on, but he has invalidated his lap. So I think Slavazalenko should be on a lap now. So Alex on provisional pole. Slava's invalidated on this lap. Is anybody actually on a lap? I don't think anyone is now. That's just the first run's done. What I can see. Here Alex with the quickest time so far. And you can see there, G's really gaining a lot in that straight line speed section. And that is certainly where he is quick because of the straight line speed. So yeah, this is seemingly it now. A few drivers now going back out for outlaps again. Those are the current lap times that we're seeing. Quickest time from Alex. Evans, just about 3/10 off his teammate for this race. And now we will have a look and see if Mythos Speed is continuing on another lap now. Maybe is this a push lap from Mythos Speed? I think it is. And he crosses the line to go into 6th position. And now we wait to see the next runs. Alex leading the early runs, but not as close as it was in Q2. But they were obviously doing consecutive laps then and just continually getting faster. And obviously now that's not happening. Malachi flying into turn 1 and 2 on another lap. And back out. And now he's on his way. And a fresh lap. So what's the first sector time going to be? Just outside of Alex's time. So on the pace. And we'll be looking to extend. We'll get a bit closer. The McLaren should be quick through these high-speed corners. I mean, Red Bull's not half bad at them either, but McLaren with its grip, I mean, it's normally a better race car as well even, so Malachi just on the 2/10 down through the first 2 sectors, so doesn't look like he's going to have the pace to beat Alex on this lap. We'll see, just checking what the speed trap comes in as. So Alex is clocking a 3:37, Mythos Speed clocking a 3:45 speed trap. Malachi clocking a 3:24, so quite a bit slower in the straight. There we are, Malachi into 7th place. James Nias out there as well. I think this is Dylan, who's still not got the right telemetry on, but we can see he's on a lap. On the first lap really of this session, James Nias seemingly fast in the first 2 sectors and loses it all in the final sector. And there was an invalidation there actually in the last sector from Dylan, so he's not got a lap on the board as it stands. And Van Leuven finding about 2/10 in the first sector. That will be good enough to get ahead of Alex. He loses a bit of time compared to Alex in the middle part of the lap, but this is the part of the lap where he has been rapid down the straights. Let's have a little look at the speed. He's also getting a slipstream here from Malachi, so it's going to be an absolute rocket final sector, it seems. 340, 341, 341 kilometers an hour. That was a lot of curb. That's an invalidation from Van Leuven. So just overdid it there in the final part of the lap. That's all it takes. James Nias was on the lap, but lost 7/10 in the middle sector, so he's also invalidated as well. So that is, I don't know what he's doing there. Currently in 4th place still though, on the 2nd row as it stands. Is Dylan, I don't know how much fuel he's got. He's not going another lap. Doesn't have the fuel. Use Van Leuven. I don't know if he's going to have enough fuel either. Danny just winding up for another lap out there. And currently in 5th for Mercedes. Mercedes will be looking to get onto the first 2 rows. And now Danny should be winding up for a proper lap. We'll just save that for a minute until he's actually on the lap. And now barreling down towards turn 1. The track where in real life George Russell took back-to-back poles in the Mercedes. Mercedes clearly liking this track. And we'll see how it works in the game. Danny now keeps it within the white lines. A bit of grass taken, but it can work. And it's a green first sector. Not quite on Alex's pace still, but James Nias with the best first sector still, I think. And Danny down to turn 8 and 9. Takes a lot of the inside curve there to try and set up the line down to the hairpin. Spot your brake point, purple in the middle sector. Try and carry the speed and get a great exit. You're going to carry the speed all the way down to turn 13. The Wall of Champions And Danny currently on a lap which might be good enough to take him to provisional pole. Still 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go in qualifying, but Danny looking to set an early marker for the final runs, and he does go quickest by 200ths of a second. So Danny getting in early and doing a lap time there to take him quickest. 109.363 for Danny in the Mercedes. Yellow flags out there, that'll just be slow moving car. Hear a wall being clobbered there, I think. But, well then, I think we're going to see the Mercedes here of Dylan on a final flying lap. Potentially even, we'll quickly just skip across, because I think Evans might be further on in a lap and on his way to finishing it. And there we are, the middle sector split is outside of Danny's time as it stands. Danny with a reasonable straight line speed as well should be able to hold that for the time being. Just the middle part of the lap that he did the damage. And here is Evans, round the Wall of Champions. Just surely the last qualifying lap will see him set. He crosses a line and he does improve by 43 milliseconds, but he doesn't go anywhere in terms of position there. So now we can see Dylan on his lap. He's gone through the first two sectors, green in both of them, 19.4 in the first. That matches James Nias' first sector. Alex just pumping in a 19.3, fastest first sector of all. Alex looking to take back provisional pole. Going into turn 8-9 now. He might get a slipstream as well from Evans, who's just up ahead. We'll have to see. As there is Dylan into 5th place for Dylan. Gilles Van Leuven to start the lap. Danny is crawling about. Is he trying to start one final lap potentially of qualifying? Alex. Now he's going to get the slipstream from Evans. And this could be crucial. But he has invalidated the lap. Danny's taken the checkered flag as well. So Alex will not be setting. But James Nias is purple in the middle sector. And he's not invalidated his lap. And could James Nias be on for the most almighty of shocks here in qualifying? James Nias crosses the line. Is 3rd place. And on the 2nd row for him, Slava Vazilenko will be the next one to cross the line. But he's invalidated his lap. Mythos speed seems way off the pace. Malachi's picked up wing damage. Gilles Van Leuven though. Wait a minute. Gilles Van Leuven could be about to steal Danny's glories. Green in the first. Green in the middle. This should be good enough to go to pole position for Gilles Van Leuven. And it is by 87 milliseconds. He's done it right at the death. And Gilles Van Leuven takes pole position for the Canadian Grand Prix. No one else is setting a lap. And right at the death, it was Gilles Van Leuven who did it for McLaren with his teammate down in 8th position. Gilles Van Leuven there, where he wasn't in Australia. He was on the front row there, managed to take the lead in turn 1, but now he'll be doing it from the front of the field here at Canada. And there we go. Gilles Van Leuven, front of the field. There we go. That was the gap. Danny with the early lap. Looked like he might have done it, but then up stepped Gilles Van Leuven. Who knows what Alex could have done? But he had invalidated earlier point in the lap. James Nias with the purple middle sector. Does this? No. Well, I think that still shows who had the purples, but it just doesn't show the times because we're not in the session. Nias, quick in those first two sectors, but then lost it at the last. Now it's time to get into the race itself. Strategies will be decided. Should be a one-stop probably. Let's see if anything's going on the actual server. Because we've got a formation lap, I believe, I hope, to do before we get into the main event. There we go, McLaren looking to make a comeback in this season. They weren't even participating in the Japanese Grand Prix because they just didn't have any reserve drivers, but now they're back fighting with Venom, looking to take back the top step, at least through Gilles van Leuven, looking to take a second victory of the season. Danny on the front row. Danny Zwart. Alex just behind on his race for Red Bull in third. James Nias on the second row, ahead of Bryn Evans. But there'll be a lot more to talk about in just a minute when we get into the formation lap. You can hear the rings, which signify that we're going to get the formation lap underway pretty soon. I hope it's going to be a formation lap. And we'll see in a minute. Yeah, formation lap to begin. Here we go. G's leads them away. In this formation lap, let's have a little look, see what the tyre options are. There we go, mediums and hards. Between the drivers, G's looking to get a good start away there on the medium compound. Danny Zwart playing a bit of a long game on the hards. See what the actual pit window is. See if we can pull that up. 19 to 21. It says this is a 35 lap race. So, there we go. We'll have to see how the tyres last. And quite a big gap there, ahead of Danny, but Gilles van Leuven's legged it, and Danny's not stayed within 10 car lengths. But Gilles is going mighty quick. Look at the gap between them. The rest of the field pretty much bunched up. Difficult to get actual temperature into your tyres, so have to see how they're doing. See the Williams there of Adam just moving about, trying to drift a bit, get the temperature in. Gilles van Leuven's entering the Wall of Champions. And, well, pack is compacting now a bit down the straight. G's looking to park up there on pole position, looking to get an optimal grid lineup, angling his car towards that Mercedes. Danny pretty much straight in his box. Alex as well, setting up slightly angled. Martin weaving all over the road. They're getting points in Div 2 yesterday. Can he repeat that from the back of the grid today? We're almost ready to get racing in just 5 lights' time. The Canadian Grand Prix, moments away. And the Canadian Grand Prix is underway. And Gilles van Leuven gets a great start, and so does Alex. Alex ahead of Danny. Danny wheel to wheel with the Ferrari of James Nias, going round to turn 2 there. And the Red Bull as well there of Bryn Evans getting involved and looking to get it past James Nias, and he has round turn 3 there. So Gilles van Leuven leads from Alex. Danny there in 3rd. Then came Bryn Evans, who's ahead of Dylan. James Nias now getting swallowed up potentially. That's Malachi on the inside there, down into the turn 8-9 chicane. Slight contact between Malachi and James Nias. They had contact in Australia. They might have had contact again there, down to the hairpin move there for the Williams of Parker on Mythos Speed. They're wheel to wheel. And they're potentially locking on. That's further back with Rio Harris now getting involved, as the camera just doesn't seem to want to change. and the Mercedes wheel to wheel and getting ahead of Malachi. Malachi getting a bit out of shape. He's taken to the escape road. He's rejoined. And now Parker getting the run down towards turn 1. Parker wheel to wheel with Malachi. Malachi's ahead of Parker. The Williams looking to take the opportunity, but he couldn't quite in the end. Jarvis Coy's in the pits for repairs already on lap 1. Wing going on to that Alpine car. Tezza very close to Charlotte Perkins, but nothing doing on this occasion. Alex very close to Gilles van Leuven. They've already broken away from Danny behind. Danny running on those hard tyres. The start of this race, and DRS now active, of course, on lap 2. And they'll be looking, potentially, Alex might be looking for a move down the 2 back straights, or down this back straight and then down the pit straight. Gilles van Leuven out of DRS, so is Alex, but Alex breezes by as Evans as well in the background also takes Danny's Vart there. So Alex now leads as we start lap 3 of this race. No penalties so far, because I don't know if they're going to pop up, but I'll keep you informed. Senor Ghosts wheel to wheel with Adam. Senor Ghost late on the brakes. Doesn't really outbrake himself almost, but in the end just about gets it slowed down and takes the place over the Williams there of Adam. Senor Ghosts now up into 11th place. He started down in 15th and now on his way up the order. Alex with an 0.8 of a second lead as he goes around turn 9. Is he going to break DRS? DRS section point is just about coming up, and he hasn't. So there we are. And G's will be keeping that DRS at the moment. Evans just outside the DRS. Danny's inside the DRS. That's a move for Rio Harris on Mythos speed at the hairpin. Mythos not really fighting that one too much. Malachi as well, getting past Dylan there. The McLaren making a move. He started in 8th. Now he's up and into 6th as Parker also gets past Dylan with the help of DRS. And taking a very inside line there was Rio Harris. Mythos speed also getting ahead of Dylan, who seems to have got off there potentially at the Wall of Champions, last corner really. And there we go. So Dylan losing a hatful of places, started all the way up in 6th, and he's now down into 10th place for the Mercedes as we're on lap 4. And there's quite a lot of DRS trains going on as it stands at the moment. See how the tyres are getting on. 3-second time penalties already for James Nias and the Mercedes of Dylan. So I don't know if Dylan cut a corner and got a penalty, or don't know the exact specifics of that, but we'll try and keep that updated throughout the race. And there we go. I'll put the warnings up quickly now just so we can see. 2 warnings already for Gilles van Leuven. He's really pushing it, and he's already 1 warning away from getting a 3-second time penalty. So that's not ideal at all for him. And yeah, he'll be having to be careful, but it's difficult to go another 30 odd laps without getting a track limit. Alex with a bit of comfort so far. Those are the penalties for Nias and also for Dylan. Dylan in a first race, I believe, in RFC. And Alex leading this race. He didn't quite get pole position. He didn't even get on the front row. But he's managed to take the lead of the race. And now he's just breaking that gap to over a second, as the detection point is just about here, I believe. I think it just passed it, and he is over a second away from Gilles van Leuven. So he's away, he's broken it, and now he's looking good for the rest of this race. Dylan close to Mythos speed, as Danny will be in the DRS of Evans up ahead. Evans with the first race in RFC. Just in Danny's throttle slightly staying on there as he applied the brakes. I don't know if that's a potential issue for him or just an actual like real life issue, because you can see the throttle still kind of being applied. He doesn't want it to. I mean, it probably isn't costing him that much. I mean, he did get on the front row at the end of the day, so interesting there. He's just trying to copy Ayrton Senna or something, I think. And now then, this is Dylan in the Mercedes, who has been passed numerous times during this race so far, and I'll be looking to recover some of those. He's gaining on Mythos speed now. Rio Harris breaking away from Parker, and he's with Malachi now. Malachi in a race of his own, and I think Harris will be able to get by pretty soon. Had a bit of a battle at the start of the restart. Last race in Miami. In the end, Malachi with the wrong tyres, and it was really no contest at the end of the day. Harris just took the place back. Harris just took the place easily, really, just as he's done there. And Malachi, with the wrong tyres that day. He's on the hard tyres today. And so far, hard tyres might be coming back into play a bit. He'll be hoping that Harris can, use the pace he's got to try and pull him along. There's James Nias with a 3-second time penalty. Rio Harris also with a 3-second time penalty. And there we go. So, seems like Danny is just about engineering a bit of a comeback now. And Evans seems to be gaining in speed in this race. And G's trying to get within DRS of Alex, but Alex just doing enough to keep him away. Managing his ERS levels. Penalties left, right and centre so far. That penalty for the Mercedes there of Dylan is actually already changed to a 6-second penalty. It'd be good if I could display that properly, but we're just going to have to rely on the information I give for the time being. And I think Evans is shaping for a move here on G's Van Leuven down to turn 1, maybe he's not quite close enough in the turn 1, but he'll certainly be having a go on the next lap, you'd have to think. Evans really doing well now with his race pace. Van Leuven struggling. He's trying to avoid a 3-second penalty, but it's going to be inevitable at this point. Also Vazilenko there, just being overtaken by a few cars. And now Evans really all over the back of Van Leuven, but he probably just wants to hold back and get the double dose of DRS down on the run down to turn 13 and the run down to turn 1 as he gets way out of shape out to turn 9. And now Danny's going to be having a look. Evans tries to cover it off on the inside line, and Danny goes oh so close to taking G's Van Leuven with him as well. Danny now trying to push Evans away, and Evans will be trying to get into the slipstream that he's leaving. Danny trying to get him out of that slipstream, but Evans on the inside into the wall of champions, and they both go off the track on their respective corners, and Evans is going to power pass. That was probably a track limit warning. That's a track limit penalty for Danny's Rart there at the wall of champions, and Evans now around the outside, barely left space by Danny, and he's still fighting. And this is just exactly what G's Van Leuven would have wanted. Adam is out of the race, and Evans still trying around the outside. And he'll now get an exit down towards turn 8. They've lost DRS to G's. G's has escaped, and Evans now going for the move into turn 8, and he's ahead of the Mercedes, but he goes in far too deep, and Danny will get the cut back down to the hairpin, and he has taken that place back. So Evans going absolutely mental here, and he's losing out on the end of it. Don't exactly know what he's doing, but he's costing himself and Danny time in their fight. So many 3-second time penalties as Evans does get ahead with that DRS, and comfortably ahead this time. down into the wall of champions. And you'll now get another dose of DRS. Rio Harris now on James Nias. This might be team orders coming to play here for Ferrari. Rio is that much quicker. Got 4% better tyres. And we'll have to see slightly less ERS though. As what is going on there, it seems like Dylan is ghosting through. He's made contact with Parker potentially, and he's lost a place to Senor Ghost because of that. We did see Adam retire. I don't know exactly what that was for. He had an instance. He wasn't at the back of the pack entirely. He does have front wing damage on his car. Maybe he did peel into the pits actually. He's got a 10-second time penalty. That was probably for speeding in the pit lane. And, well then, we keep watching as Rio Harris is close to James Nias now, and he should get the exit down to the wall of champions. Evans back within the DRS now, G's Van Leuven, and Rio Harris will be comfortably taking that position. Malachi will be shaping for it as well, and James Nias tries to defend it, kind of moves across, and Malachi with a great run trajectory there, slightly out of shape coming out of the last corner, but he will still take the place going into turn 1 as G's Van Leuven decides that now is the time for an opening pit stop in this race. And there we go, 2.5 second stop, and he feeds back out. He'll be about neck and neck there, the Haas, and he's ahead of Charlotte Perkins but behind Mythos Speed. So don't know if that's helped him. If he's right behind, does Mythos Speed get out of shape? Somebody keeps hitting the wall here, and G's Van Leuven's going up the inside, and Mythos Speed turns in, and G's almost runs into him. Wasn't particularly alongside going into there, but now he will get it down into turn 8. He gets the move with DRS. Then Martin making a pit stop. He's in last place in this race. Dylan now with Senor Ghosts right behind him, and with DRS as well, and Malachi actually further up the road, potentially close to Rio Harris. Senor Ghost has got that position. Parker might be having a look as well, and he goes into the pits, has to manage just to not run into the Mercedes there, and Vazilenko getting past that Mercedes as well, down into turn 1. So, the number of battles Dylan's been in today. He's been overtaken and overtaken. He's been overtaken, and he's also overtook many cars in this race. Doesn't seem to have the most consistency, but we'll see. Because now we've got G's Van Leuven here. So, yeah, we'll just have a quick little pan to the actual track limit situation, because I don't have the number of penalties to put on the screen, but yeah, I can see James Nias, Dylan, they're both 6 seconds. I mean, you can obviously work it out from there, but you've got to do a bit of maths to work that out. And G's Van Leuven be now looking to get a move on and try and see if he can get past, because this is a DRS train. It's not going to be helping any chance he had at a bit of an undercut on Alex, because Alex is just staying out there. He didn't pick up damage. No, he had a 2.5 second stop. He hasn't repaired his wing, and I don't think he's got damage now. So, James Nias with a 6 second time penalty. Malachi now also with 6 seconds of time penalties. So many time penalties. How many warnings did Alex have, actually, out of interest? 1. So, there we go. Consistency from Alex. And G's Van Leuven still stuck behind Dylan here. This won't be doing him any good, because he just can't quite get close enough. I don't know why. He's got such good straight line speed. You think you could just use DRS and take him, even if they're in a DRS train. But it's getting a bit frustrated here. To Aston Martin's doing a bit of a job on his drivers, just holding that train But now the ERS is being deployed, and Gilles Van Leuven looking to move past some of these drivers who haven't pitted. And the Aston Martin of Senor Ghost there gets overtaken by Dylan, and Gilles Van Leuven still not going anywhere, but he'll now get the move on Ghosts because he hasn't got DRS, I think. And he would also try and brake late and get Dylan. He can't quite on this occasion. He's finally cleared one of them, but he's still got two more to clear. Evans, seemingly with great pace as well. He's gaining, I think, on Alex. Gained almost 8/10 on the last lap. Yellow flag out there. That might be, I don't know actually. Who is that? Somebody's caused a VSC. Martin, I think, has retired from the race. And virtual safety car. So now, those who haven't pitted are now in an optimum opportunity to take their stop. People like Gilles Van Leuven, this will really not be helping because the VSC out there. Yeah, Martin out of the race. I don't entirely know what happened to him. Couldn't switch to it in time. But here we go with the race leader into the pits. Alex now. There is Gilles Van Leuven's just coming down the back straight, limited in pace. Also in a bit of a train. It's a double stack here for Red Bull. And, well, this might not be helping those who started on the hards. People like Evans. Would be a bit of a stretch to make it to the end on mediums from here. But, well, 45% wear from Mythos speed on the mediums at the end of this, in this race so far. VSC now ending. And there we go. We've gone green. And Evans now 4.2 seconds behind. He's lost a bit of time. Danny and Malachi, they've decided to stay out because they don't think they can make it to the end by pitting now. Evans has just gone for it because he was already at the front, so may as well. So many time penalties going on. Yeah. Little speed there. Just coming out the pit. I don't think he got the full benefit of the VSC because the VSC did end. There, Gilles Van Leuven ahead of Dylan, and now he'll be on Rio Harris. Rio Harris jumping him because of that VSC. Also now with 7% better tyres at this stage of the race. Zelenko, bit of a bottleneck now. He's not pitted in this race. He's on all of the laps on this current set of tyres. And there we go into the last chicane. Gilles Van Leuven ahead of Slava Zelenko. And Rio Harris also ahead of Slava Zelenko. And surely now Dylan will be also having a look. He's also on old tyres though. Have to see how he gets on. Purple in the middle sector there from Senor Ghost on that lap. Purple in the first sector for Bryn Evans on this latest lap. The mediums really working well at the start of this stint, and he'll be close behind Alex pretty soon. He's already pretty close, but he'll win in DRS if he keeps this up. Purple in the first sector, Senor Ghosts a good first sector as well. And Gilles Van Leuven eager to get past Rio Harris. Rio Harris knocked out in the second part of qualifying, meaning that he started all the way back in 12th, I think, and now he's currently running in 5th. Could be even better. And there we go. Alex has been caught by Bryn Evans, but Evans might be a bit of a team game, or Evans is just absolutely flying as well on this latest lap. There, Gilles Van Leuven. It's in the pits. What's going on there? I don't know. He's in the pits. I have absolutely no idea why he's in the pit, but we'll watch these two anyway. No. And Gilles Van Leuven comes back out. Yeah, 9th place. Did he get damage? Oh no, he got a drive-through, I think. He got a drive-through for speeding under the virtual safety car. I'm going to hazard a guess. That doesn't actually pop up because I don't have the actual. Let's just have a quick little check. Look at the amount of penalties. Speeding under VSC. Bryn Evans with the same thing. So this is why he's going like the clappers, because he's going to need to take about a 20-second penalty by driving through the pits as well. So it would be ideal if that actually popped up, but I don't think the overlay is properly working. So I could put this back on, and we'll just pray that stuff works. Malachi's speed, he's speeding in the pits. Bryn Evans, yeah, there we go. We'll put this back on just in case, just so we can see any penalties from now on, because I don't think the actual overlay's working at all, really. Malachi back out there, so McLaren having another nightmare race, it seems. Yeah, Slava Vazilenko with some wing damage. There's a yellow flag. Is that Slava Vazilenko? I think it is. Yep, Slava Vazilenko missing the left end plate. That will not be doing him any good as Malachi gets past Dries van Leuven and into 7th place, and then gets another time penalty as he goes across that chicane. So make that 9 seconds of penalties for Malachi. And he must have did he serve the speeding? Let's just do a bit of a double check. No, he has got the speeding on top of that. Yeah, I did think it didn't serve that because he just got that then, but I didn't know if it was an old thing. Bryn Evans with another penalty. And just going like mad. So Evans must be needing to pit for that penalty pretty soon. Gotta think. Actually, since there's loads of penalties going on, I might just record some of this telemetry data so that I can actually fix things for the future. Because this is an optimum chance to test penalty overlays in this race. And James Nice wheel to wheel with Dylan. Oh, Dylan gets spun around with contact with James Nice. Dylan spun around there at about turn 6, I think. Turn 7. Every time I try and swap to him, it just swaps to someone else. And there we go. Dylan losing his car due to contact with James Nias. And there we go. He's down to 10th. He's not even pitted in this race yet. Neither has Danny Zwart. He'll be hoping for a safety car. But potentially with a safety car, it might result in everybody making their pit stop. And if everybody makes their pit stop, then obviously he'll keep the lead. He does have a time penalty. So let's just do a bit of a reload in case he does definitely have the 3 seconds. Yeah, look, he's got 4 warnings. It doesn't even pop up, so... Look at James Nice. He's got so many penalties, it doesn't even fit on, because I should have James Nice proofed the penalty screen, because I think I did change the font size and try and test, but I think I only tested 10. No, I didn't test 11, and 11 seems to be too big to fit, but 11 track limit penalties. There we go. I mean, I did kind of introduce that overlay just to so we could see how many track limits he did have, and well, it's a lot. Yeah, so I think the fastest lap isn't appearing at the moment next to Bryn Evans because he's got a drive-through penalty, but the drive-through doesn't show with an exclamation mark. Maybe P1's penalty thing just doesn't work because obviously it's working now for Danny. So Alex, he doesn't have a penalty, so that's fine at least, I guess. And Evans, has he served that penalty? Did he have a penalty? I swear I saw speeding under the VSC. Yeah, Bryn Evans drive through. So, I don't know. Let's just have a look at the normal game overlay. It's just got 3 seconds next to his name, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, drivers kind of spaced out, apart from Malachi. Now with Danny. Danny with fresher tyres, obviously just came out the pits, basically. We'll now see how he gets on. Now medium tyres out there. And we'll now see what's going on. So Senor Ghosts with another 3 seconds. So many 3 seconds out there. And yeah, Dylan is pretty close to Charlotte Perkins. Charlotte Perkins, no track limit penalty yet. So well done to her. And yeah. So anyway, Evans will be trying to chase down Harris for second place this race. Yeah. He must have had that penalty at some point, and I just didn't quite see him go in the pits because something else was going on. And Perkins is behind Dylan, and Danny is there behind James Nias. James Nias with 12 seconds of time penalties in this race so far. The most. Second most is Malachi with 9. Jarvis Coyd. Malachi now making it 12, equaling the record. Who will get the most penalties? Malachi with wing damage. That must have been why he's dropped back. He was right with Danny, I believe. And Danny now getting past James Nias. Yeah, so we'll see now. Evans chased down Harris. Evans with 3 seconds of penalties. Definitely has 3 seconds of penalties. Those are the track limits. 14 for James Nias. 14 track limits, that is. Look, Malachi's thing fits. The 12 fits, but it just hasn't adjusted that for James Nias, so I'll have to have a look. Of course, we'll have a look. Anyway, Dylan is ahead of Tezza and Salba. Not really near the points today. And there is Parker getting past Malachi. Malachi with wing damage on his car. And Rio Harris is behind Evans. So that just happened down the back straight. It's a Red Bull 1-2. Can Harris fight it back? He has got fresher tyres in terms of the percentage of wear, but whether that makes a difference, I mean, it should later on in the race, you'd think. The hard tyres will work better. Malachi retiring in the pits. I'm quite sure why he's done that, because it's still an opportunity. Especially if there was a safety car, he could fix his wing, and then with so many penalties for everyone, it's not like, you know, there's really much to lose, but he has retired from the race. And Harris keeping with Evans, keeping in his DRS range. And he won't want to let the Red Bull escape. Red Bull of Evans arguably had the best pace in this race. I mean, Alex as well will have something to say about that. He's been incredibly quick and controlled, no track limit penalties. And into War of Champions, Harris sticking with that Red Bull. And Red Bull looking for a 1-2 finish. I think had a 1-2 finish in the entirety of last season. I don't think there was a 1-2 for anyone last season. But we have had it this season, obviously, in Japan. There's Danny getting another penalty. And there's James Nias making it 15 seconds of time penalties. How does he do it? I don't have the chat open now because when I clicked another thing it disappeared, so somebody's probably saying something. Eagle's probably crashing out, or he's probably just expecting this to happen. If he's still watching, I don't know. But yeah. Geez, there we go. Finally getting that penalty. She's had 2 warnings since about first couple of laps, and he has finally got the penalty on McLaren. The only drivers without penalties now, Parker and Alex, as Evans does go into the pits now. And he thinks he's not going to make the end of the race, must be. Another set of mediums go on to that Red Bull, and he'll feed out now, probably ahead of Parker, I'd like to think. Take the shorter line, you miss out the first couple of corners really. He will feed out ahead of the Williams and Evans now with a bit of work to do, but he should be rapid with his pace now. But obviously starting on the hard tyres has not helped him, because now he's got actual work to do in this race. And, well, there we are. Let's just get the penalties back up, I guess. Not a lot else we can see. And Alex comfortably controlling this and just cruising around at the moment. 2 track limit penalties for him. How many track limits is it till he gets disqualified? Honestly. James Nice is not going to be finishing anywhere, is he? At this rate. Gilles Van Leuven, the pole sitter, closing in on him as well. And Slava Zelenko making him... Yep, that's now 6 seconds of time penalty, so 6 warnings. And been out of shape there. The first couple of corners, Evans now much better traction, should breeze past Senor Ghosts, and he does. Evans just like allergic to having like a penalty indicated next to his name. I think it's something to do with the fact he's got the fastest lap. And if he's got the fastest lap, it doesn't even show the fastest lap now, it just doesn't show he's got a penalty. It's got to be something to do with that, you'd think. I mean, he should probably get some more fastest laps now with that tyres he's on. Those tyres. Here we are, James Nias, still with only 15 warnings. How long until he actually... When is he going to pick up more warnings? He's not got any more yet. Alex still controlling this without a track limit penalty. Parker doing well as well. No track limit penalties for him. And Gilles Van Leuven now getting past James Nias. He doesn't even put up a defence. Did Nias. And G's looking to repair the damage of that penalty. The speeding under the virtual safety car, which already hampered his strategy. The pit stop early that hampered his strategy by being pit and going into traffic which he would take a while to clear, and then just as he was clearing it, the virtual safety car came out, so he wasn't actually able to get any places. In fact, he lost out to people like Rio Harris, and then he was set back, obviously, with that track limit. No, not track limit, with that infringement under the safety car. And he's also got some track limits as well, but not affecting him as much as James Nias, who's should just be cruising it now, but I mean, Bryn Evans will be going for a move, and we'll see. He just looks to set it up with all the champions, and now onto the pit straight. It was almost like a Lando Norris Oscar Piastri there, but Bryn Evans, whoa! Far too late on the brakes and almost takes out Gilles Van Leuven going into turn 1. Incredibly late on the brakes there. Misjudged it. Unfortunately for him, misses out on hitting the McLaren. I think he did that earlier in the race as well. Wouldn't surprise me with that Mercedes battle he had. And now he's going to be quickly on to Van Leuven as well. Well, and he will be clearing Van Leuven down in the turn 8. And now, got 7.5 seconds to gain to Danny. Danny with 3 more seconds of time penalties than him. Evans with just the 3. Rio Harris saving up his ERS at the moment. I don't know if he's lost 1.6 seconds in the last lap to Danny, so Danny's gaining a moment. There we go. Harris crosses the line. 14.3. Danny crosses the line. 13.6. So 7.2 tenths gained there. Well, Rio Harris could be in another battle in a minute. No fastest laps have been set for a while. Bryn Evans, last time he got a fast lap was like a couple of laps in, I think. So, yeah. Alex and Parker still the only ones without penalties. We'll just have another look at the warnings. James Nias, now another, well, he's one more warning away from another time penalty. And making that 18 seconds, potentially, for James Nias. Yeah, just, I don't know how they're getting so many, because surely you just, after you get a couple, you just can't keep sending it the same way. Like, you gain a lot more by just taking a couple of tenths out of your pace and then going for, you know, and then not getting track limits. There's G's with a second track limit penalty. You know, if you don't have penalties, like people like Parker, they're going to gain so much because he can just keep his pace up, close within, he'll easily get past a couple. You can close a second, then he'll go, so get the position on him. James Nias as well will easily drop behind him. If there's any kind of safety car, James Nias really is done. And now Danny closing in here on Rio Harris. And he'll look to set the move out of the hairpin, I'm sure, and get him on back straight. Now here we go. 6/10 gap, about half a second gap now, as Rio Harris knows that Danny's going to be in the slipstream. He's going to try and pull out and stop that slipstream, but Danny is going to go to the outside line, and they go wheel to wheel, and Rio Harris goes into the wall at the Wall of Champions, and he's made contact with Danny, cuts across and into the pits now, and he's picked up front wing damage. A contentious moment between second and third in the race, and it's left Rio Harris dropping down the order. We'll have to see a replay of that, see who exactly really caused that. Danny tried to go around the outside, who was ahead going into there. Got to think Danny surely should have got ahead. I don't know if he was, but yeah, there we go. Rio Harris now barely in the points after that. Spun around there. And now we're just getting a fastest lap probably or something, but that doesn't get any points. We'll get a point. We'll get past Mythal Speed. We'll probably get past James Nice with all his penalties anyway. We'll get past Mythal Speed here. Mythal Speed lets him by. And then I'll just put this gap on for a minute as well, just because it's probably easier to work out with the track limits. I'll quickly read them off before anything else happens. Just switch back the gap, just make sure nothing's going on. And then, right, here we go. So, Danny with 6 seconds, Bryn Evans with 3 seconds, G's with 6 seconds, James Nice with 15 seconds, Senor Ghost with 6 seconds, Dylan with 6 seconds, Rio Harris with 6 seconds, Mythos Speed with 6 seconds, Charlotte Perkins with 3 seconds, Slava Vazilenko with 6 seconds, Tezza with 9 seconds, and Jarvis Coyd with 3 seconds of time penalties. So, those are the penalties. And then just as I finish that, Rio Harris is now going to be getting past Dylan and easily taking the place. Dylan can't really fight it too much. And Dylan did pit 13 laps ago for mediums, and now, yep, he's down to 9th. We're trying to hang on to the points. Yep, 6 seconds of time penalties for him, 6 seconds for Mythos Speed behind Charlotte Perkins with only 3, but quite a way back. 9 seconds back. So Jarvis Coyd, who's I think second in the championship after the chaos of Miami, down in 14th place today. Hasn't quite had the pace. Tyres not in a good shape now. I'll just be looking forward to the end of this one, I think. And can't wait to see how this shakes up when we get to the final lap, because I'm not really seeing any battles now, but we may as well just see what Alex is doing, because we've not really watched him that much because he's been so far ahead of everyone that not really anything to see. He's already lapped Jarvis Coyd there. Tesla's just up the road as well. And yeah, he's going to start lap 35 of 35 at the Canadian Grand Prix. Canadian Grand Prix, which he has dominated. And Rio Harris picks up another penalty. He might still on a few moves, or get a move on Parker, I'm sure. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. And yep, he's really gaining now, so we'll quickly see this before the last knockings of the race. And there we go. I don't think he even had DRS there, he just got him anyway. Yep, no DRS, so he wasn't within the detection point, but yep. And there is the fastest lap from Rio Harris. 1:11.311. Finally beats Bryn Evans' old lap there. Old lap. But Alex, meanwhile, he drove for Racing Bulls to start this season. He's hopped into Red Bull. He's been in the fight for pole position. He missed out on pole position by invalidating his lap. Started third, finishes first at the Canadian Grand Prix. Alex wins the Canadian Grand Prix by nearly 15 seconds. It will be over that because of the time penalties as well. So Danny now is across the line in second place. The Mercedes. How are the penalties going to shake out? Bryn Evans is just missed out on second place there because Danny had 3 more seconds of time penalties, so the gap was actually 3.037. But then, yep, Cheese must have... Did he speed in the pits as well? Did James Nias as well? Got so many penalties. So Danny's in second, Evans is third, Gilles van Leuven is fourth, Senor Ghosts is all the way up to 5th in the end, as Parker finishes 6th. Harris makes his way back through to 7th. There is Dylan in 8th. James Nias still finishes in the points despite all of this, I think, because he's a second ahead of Mythos Speed. Charlotte Perkins in 11th, misses out on the points. Vazilenko is in 12th. That is Teza to cross the line in 13th. But it's Alex on the top step of the podium the first time in RFC. So, there we go then. Just export the results. So Alex, it's a Red Bull double podium. McLaren's fight back didn't really happen in the end. Malachi with another DNF. Look at the penalties. My word. James Nice with 25 seconds of time penalties. What is the point? And there we go. We'll just quickly check the race director because there might be a few track limits to debate. Just a few. And that is the end of the list. There we go. Pit stops. May as well. Tyre stints. Sure. Well, it's a good result for Aston Martin in the end, really. send your ghosts. And now we'll see. I'll check the chat. I'll check Discord. Check Discord probably. But that is it for the 4th round of the season. So here we go. Is it going to be interviews potentially? I mean, I'll go in the channel. I'll open the channel up, sorry, and we'll see if anyone joins. I'll try and get some clips up as well to see. Right, the channel should now be open. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, Rio.
Hi.
So, yeah, when not the race you had imagined, I assume. Not at all.
People don't know the unsaid rule. If you're on the outside, not to give your head, you bail out of it. But it's Mercedes. I'm used to the lack of racecraft.
Yeah. Well, how's the pace out there? Because obviously struggling a bit in qualifying.
I'm qualifying. My bad. I gambled to stay in. Then the race. I mean, my pace was lovely in the race. I was top 3 pace for the race, and then I can't say that. I get taken out. I'll rewatch it, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to report it because I don't want to give Red Bull more points.
Tactical reporting.
Yeah.
You know what that is, lads? You know what that is, lads? Simply lovely. Ha ha ha.
See what happens as soon as I get put in a good car, lads. Harris, what happened with you and the Merc, lad? Oh.
No comment. Great race.
Was he angry in VC?